to a gone.net, not mobile. It's gone.net. It's allthings.net, although mostly mobile for the episode. I'm joined here, as always, with Alan as soon as I can hit the button to figure out how to remove the overlay.
There we go.
Yay.
Yay, John did the announcer voice too. Last week he was like adverse to it.
You can't do it if there's been a soft intro where you're just talking.
Well, because I think you just hit the record button. It was like, we're live. We're chill. We're vibing. We're vibe streaming.
Don't know how to do any of this stuff. We're figuring it out.
It's all right. People didn't come here to see us anyway.
That's true.
Look at the logo. We used to be a podcast, so
I still need to post. I think we have to repost the videos after so that they have all the locally recorded version of screens, right? Well, although your feed looks better today, so hopefully.
Okay, so John's been giving me a crap for a while about, dude, this looks like crap. My mic sucks, right? So my webcam sucks. So I have lights. You don't see them. There's lights.
You're still kind of. I mean, don't take this personally, but you're still kind of dim.
Okay, okay. One thing at a time.
Yeah.
If we're getting there. So then I got my mic. I upgraded my mic. Then I broke my mic. So then I had to get this complicated. What do you call this? Mixing box.
Yeah.
Same one that John got.
But it's so much fun. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with it, right?
Yeah, it's true. Don't screw up our sound stream though, man, because you know how this goes. So I got that, and then John was like, "Okay, your webcam sucks." So I changed that, and then he's like, "You're dim." So I got the lights, and then okay, now to be fair, this was a technical issue though. Is that I had a USB hub. This it's an Amazon buy.
So
this thing actually died. So last week I was streaming and it wasn't dead yet, but it was well on its way. So this week it freaked out. Couldn't. Everyone's like, dude, you sound like a robot. Things aren't working. So it's now out of the equation. I have wires all over my desk, but my stream is good. So you can't give me crap about it this week, right?
There's still time. Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
Such an optimist.
I mean, I got it. Proof is in the pudding.
I'm glad to see you're wearing your Toronto's hat that I've been bugging you to get that one for about 6 months. So that's good. It's good to see.
It's a lot of progress because I used to be a Tigers fan actually.
Because the Jays are doing well this year. John's on the boat.
Well, it's all of the things combined. It's we're both in Canada, right? So I'm actually closer to go watch the Tigers than I am the Blue Jays.
Fair.
But I don't really want to do that right now. And then there's, like the Blue Jays Tigers are doing well too. The Blue Jays are doing well, but my son has been into Blue Jays. And so we're watching all of those games anyway. So it's like, I don't know I couldn't tell you what's going on with the players on the Tigers, but on the Blue Jays, I can tell you what's going on. So,
all right.
It's all the culmination of many factors combined that have led me down this path. And I coached his team this year, and they were the Blue Jays, so that was like I had to buy a hat.
Okay.
So that I had a Blue Jays hat, right?
Okay, but you only just got that hat.
This one, yeah. This one is new. This one's new. Yeah, but I have many Blue Jay hats now. You'd be proud.
Okay, good. Okay. So in terms of .NET stuff, guess what I was doing today?
Writing .NET code.
Yeah, that, and I got our good friend James Montemagno was live streaming today. He was doing his live stream, so I haven't gotten to troll James in a while. I love James. I've known him for several years now, since the Xamarin days. And so James and our good friend John here were DI haters, probably not the right word. DI aversion.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Adverse. Yeah.
So I already got John saying he bought into it years ago. I kept the screenshot and everything. I got the screenshot, dude.
No. The Kool-Aid. No. I'm all on board the train now. I feel like I have to defend us a little bit because like that was
okay. Hang on. I gotta. Let me get this out. Then you can defend because this is fact.
All right.
So James was probably worse. Probably. He just, there was no DI. He did a few articles like when Microsoft brought out the extension stuff. I think that when it was out of the box, or in the box,
yeah,
it was more acceptable, right? So. But one thing is that I loved it because today it threw just like, so James is doing the AI coding, right? So with all the GitHub instructions, and it does a pretty decent job. Like it's going to set you up a basic app. It's going to do the things. But man, did it punch him with interfaces today. And James, you're good, but I know that was set triggering your OCD because it was even triggering mine. It went it went and generated a SQLite interface with a SQLite service. It generated an ID service. It generated a time service. It generated all repositories around the SQLite. He needed 2 screens.
All the
So
services.
it was amazing to watch. And you could tell he was like, oh my God, what is it doing to me? And so I just love bugging him because years ago that would have, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And to see it throw it at him, I had to razz him a bit.
I
Right?
mean,
I had to. If it was you, John, I'd be.
Oh yeah, yeah. I fully expect that. But when we first started doing mobile stuff and like you could technically run those things on mobile, I'm going to say that one, it wasn't very well optimized for mobile at all. There's still parts that maybe need some help, but there's that. And then like devices were slower and stuff. Right. So I feel like we kind of, there was a tipping point at which we're like, okay, it's worth, not that it adds a lot of overhead. Cause I if you actually measure it now, it's really not bad. It's obviously well worth it unless you do something stupid, but then like you could do something stupid without DI too.
Yep.
But it added, I feel like it used to add a little bit more and we got to the point where stuff's faster, things are better. And it's just like, we arrived at this, convergence of like, yep, now's the time that we jump on board the wagon. So I'm happy to be on board, but I will defend, earlier decisions. And
I kept the screenshot. The second John said he bought into the Kool-Aid, I snipped it. I've still got it. I still remind him occasionally. But it's great, right? I'm a bit different because MAUI used to go into a lot of the enterprise stuff that I used to work on. So obviously got teams and people. And so dependency injection mattered there.
Yeah.
But to say that I haven't seen stuff where I've been like, oh my God, how did we get here?
Well,
there's abstraction and then there's over abstraction. And some of the stuff, like James got it this morning. That's why it was funny. He got all of the interfaces and you could see it. You could see it, and I loved it. He just rolled with it because he's good at doing that. But you had to give him a good time about it.
I mean, the other thing is, with all of the improvements and stuff, like, and you're talking about it from an enterprise perspective, and like that makes a lot of sense to me, and did even forever ago. But like, we were coming from the perspective, and to be fair, probably not acknowledging the customer perspective enough there for the people that were building enterprise stuff. But we were, writing one person developed apps and stuff, right? And it was like, oh, I don't want to add all this like ceremony just for me, right?
Right.
But
and it absolutely makes sense, right? That's why I love bugging James today because he had it had 2 screens and more interfaces and more implementations for 2 screens.
Yeah.
And you got to know that he was twitching. And rightfully so, because I was too. It created an ID service, a time service, and a SQLite service. I was like, oh my, it went as deep as it could have. Good job, AI. And also not one cancellation token thrown in there for all the async methods too.
So like it's like looking at all this knowledge and stuff that it has learned and it didn't still quite learn enough of it. That's sad.
I mean, you don't need cancellation tokens on SQLite per se, but still it's there.
Well, but like if you're gonna go like super overboard as the model and like make everything like super patterned, you got to do it for everything, right? So
right, just. You're all in or you're not in at all, I guess is how it goes. So speaking of interfaces and all that good stuff, we've been working on an app because we figured people would want to see us write something. So I don't like teaching, but John gets to watch me trip over my keyboard and make fun of me. And I don't know, kind of see how I'm building apps and,
I think it's always interesting to see like the patterns and compare notes even. I mean, you and I have talked enough while building apps and sharing, what we're thinking and what we're doing, and maybe me more so saying like, hey, if I'm going to be on board this DI thing, tell me if I'm doing this right or wrong.
Does this look good?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
this looks good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this is going to let me. So after last week, after the darn thing crashed on me, the app, I'm using the browser this week to share my screen. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
I'll share a single window this time because then maybe that'll be all right. Oh, I can actually see my screen this time.
And it's looking pretty decent today too. So yeah, maybe that was the the thing that I don't get is your camera was maybe pixelated. How did the USB hub mess up the desktop sharing portion?
I think what happened is that everything was just overwhelmed. Like
Maybe.
So my camera, like basically this week it was like, dude, something is really wrong with your USB devices. And it started saying like I plug in my phones, obviously, because if you're doing mobile dev, you've usually got an Android, you've got an iOS phone. I've got a wireless keyboard and wireless mouse, but often they're charging. And I think it just was like, dude, there's too much on this bus.
Yeah.
And it told me you're on a USB 2 bus. And I'm like, the hell I am. This is a USB 3 thing. And everything just died.
Have you, little side tangent while you make that window wider, have you ever messed around with, I had this like dream of if I could put, because I have like a rack in my basement, right? Like I've got a big enough area to put all that stuff in. Like if I could just have all of my, like a whole tray of mobile devices that were like sitting in my rack that I could remotely develop with, like that would be the dream, right? And there's like, at one point I used like Visor. I would hook them all up to like my Mac Mini sitting in there and use Visor to expose them. And then I came across some other like USB over IP options. And I never finished it. I should. I started building like this Raspberry Pi setup that had them all plugged in, and you can like get the USB IP client, and then like it's actually connected to your device over USB, but it's going over the network. Really cool.
Is that the one where you've got the IoT that actually presses the button?
No. That's a different setup. No,
Okay.
That's a different setup.
Just to put that out there, John has a thing that presses the button to turn it back on remotely.
Yeah,
because it's Mac machines or something, right?
Stupid Mac Minis. And like, there's all these settings that should tell it to wake up again and turn on if the power goes out. And like, I have them on battery backup even, but for some reason, there's some times where they just, if the battery backup runs out, I don't know, maybe the power's off too long. Maybe that setting only works if it's like flick on and off for a few minutes and then it'll turn back on to its previous state. I've tried resetting like the NVRAM, all the different things you can do with the Mac. And the darn thing sometimes just won't power on after.
So instead of walking to the unit, he has a thing that presses the button from where he is to turn the machine on.
Yeah, so it's cool. I have a Pi KVM, and you can hook up like servos to it, and have a button in the controls that runs the servo and then like and pushes the button in for a few seconds, and then like comes back off. It's glorious.
The joke's got to be made. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. So after last week, we couldn't remember. So I had to do a couple things because I couldn't remember. And nobody wants to see us struggle.
Yeah,
we're not supposed to struggle, but you got to remember this stuff. And AI is stupid sometimes. But I did go and add our proper AI. I did put some constants, which we won't share, obviously. Because again, we're not sharing public keys.
Yeah, again,
you should never.
I'm going to put this in there again because if you didn't watch the last episode or you don't do this. Like all of the AI calls to like AI services, they really need to be behind a server, and you need to be authenticated to your server with a token that is not the token that you're using directly with OpenAI.
Now there is some local AI options, I think, coming. So obviously Frank Kruger did the Cross Intelligence, which is an Apple thing.
Yeah. So yeah, and Apple has APIs, right? I'm assuming Android has something with Gemini stuff too. I haven't really looked that much. You played with the Apple one, right?
Yeah, and I know Matthew Leibowitz is working on he's working on like extensions for the Apple and Google ones.
Yeah.
libraries to go on mobile, which is that's awesome. I can't wait till he releases that. But the Apple one, so I played with it in Swift UI, and then I tried Frank's cross intelligence.
Hmm.
The Apple AI is pretty dumb.
Not, it's what a shocker that, a really small model is not as good as some of the bigger models.
I mean, it's obviously a little slower. That's to be expected, but it's not very intelligent yet. It's more like a I don't have a nice way to describe it, so maybe we'll just leave it at
I
that.
mean, slower isn't like that's
Slow's not a
fine.
problem,
No, and
right?
that's like sure that's expected, but the problem is just that you can't fit. Like if you look at different models, they usually have like a parameter number associated with them, right? Like the one that OpenAI released, the open source ones. I think there's what a 20 billion parameter version and like 120 billion. I forget.
Yeah,
And the 20 billion, like I can load that on my NVIDIA RTX 4080 that has 16 gigabytes of video RAM. I can load it on that.
that's it. That's it. That's
That
all you get. That's the
yeah, that's
entire.
that's it. So and on like my MacBook, I can load a few bigger models. Like I think Quen has like a 30 billion parameter one. I can load that on my Mac with 48 gigs of RAM of shared RAM. Mac's a bit slow because it's the shared RAM isn't the same as like NVIDIA.
GPU. Yeah.
But that's taking this kind of thing, and like your iPhone only has like what do they have on them now? Like 8 gigs of RAM, maybe.
Uh, I'm not actually sure the
And that has to
requirement.
take into account the operating system, any apps you have running and stuff. So like usable memory for like AI purposes has got to be under 4 at the most, probably more like under 2.
Suffice it to say, the models or the prompts that I've given it aren't too complicated, and it just kind of
Yeah,
chokes on
it's
it.
just not. It's not going to be able to, right? Like
Doesn't mean
I
it's not
would
going to get
almost.
there.
No. It'll get there, and I almost wonder, like, you might almost want a bit more sophisticated of a prompt. Like I don't know what the context window is for these things, but that might do better because the problem is it's like such a small model, it's not gonna know really what to do without a lot of direction. Yeah.
I mean, the cool part is that this thing is local because a lot of the AI stuff I'm doing these days, like people don't realize it is expensive.
Yeah.
Like it can cost you a lot of coins to do even simpler prompts, right? With
Yep.
any amount of traffic. Like
Well,
I
yeah.
just a dev thing that I've been doing on a recent project was like $20 to test. And then there was another model where I was kind of doing some constant talking, constant chattering at it. And that was over the course of like 30 minutes. And it chewed up like another $20 just to kind of process what I was doing. And it was slow. It had lots of errors. It did the thing,
Yeah.
but not well and not cheap. So we're still growing. Well, that's what it is.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get. I mean, I think the foreseeable future, where there's always going to be these huge models that you can't run on any of your hardware that are going to be way better than what you can. But like, if we just kind of look forward a year or two or three, probably like some of the stuff that I can run on my NVIDIA card now will be on mobile devices, and some of those are like pretty reasonable for some of these tasks, like what we're kind of talking about using today, right?
So what I've done is we're going to connect to those big models, obviously. And again, we're saying don't do that. But for now, who cares? We're going to, YOLO here. So
Yeah.
I've brought in the Azure OpenAI client because it's a little bit easier than dealing with OpenAI directly. It builds my one account, so that's fantastic. And the reason I'm using this one is because I've just got a GPT 4.1 model.
Okay.
So that's going to be sufficient for what we need. Because really what we're using AI for is a couple of things. One is structured data, because we need structured data out of it. And two is it can provide all of the things we want without loading a database. So like the stuff we're talking about we're writing a heads up clone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game you put on your forehead and you give it a category. So like Disney princesses, and this will give you a whole bunch of Disney princesses, and we didn't have to load any of that data. We didn't even have to know what the heck a Disney princess is. but it'll do the things for us. So last week we couldn't figure out what the exact settings were because God knows this API is changing all the time. But this is the one I had success with recently. The Azure OpenAI client. It does the structured data, which is something we need. Because if we look at our old prompt, so let me open up our actual AI answer provider. So right now we're kind of telling it how to generate this stuff. But I think what we'll do is we'll move this to an actual generated response, which is pretty cool. Like the structured data, if you give it a strongly typed object,
like it'll follow that schema, right?
Yeah, it'll go and create the JSON schema of it.
Yeah.
And it works a little bit better because I found when I was trying to tell it like this is how your output should look, a lot of the times, especially in more complicated data structures, it was like, it just couldn't do it. So we'll probably switch this up, but this is basically all we're doing AI for, is letting it generate this data for us. So that's pretty cool.
And again, what I've done, like you could, the way that we'd probably want to do this in the real world is like, this is your client to your server API that does this implementation, right?
It could be. It could also just be, depends on how you want to implement the chat client.
Yeah. But I guess you can proxy the chat client over to the server too.
I mean, we can try out, Matthews or Apple Intelligence when they release it and see how it does. I'm going to guess it's not going to do well because it's based on data. Like Disney Princesses, I'm pretty sure they're not going to have in their model on the Apple device.
Yeah.
If not, we should be very fearful. Anyhow, this is pretty cool. We've got what we need there for now. We'll switch that over to structured data. I did switch this up to everything because we were having problems last week going, is this an answer provider or is it a question provider? So we had like these terminologies. So I switched them all over to answers, John. So there you'll stop being triggered.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all good now. So we've got our answer provider. So that's like our AI service. And the reason we've got that kind of isolated is one, again, we might not be using chat client. We might be using the AI, APIs. But we also want to frame out kind of our prompts here, right? We just want the view model to say, here's a category, give me the data. So that's all nicely tucked away. We've kind of got these sensor detectors, which we'll probably look at today if we get around to it. And that's just going to be like the flip up, flip down for yes, no, or pass success. And also the speech to text one where you can say, yes or correct, or you say the actual word. So if it's Disney Princess, it's Snow White. Yeah, you got the thing right. Or if I say pass, you flip it up and it passes. So that's what we're looking to do. So that's all of our services nicely abstracted. So I think the first thing we can start with today and where we kind of finished off last week is we've got this ready view model. And this was to go and get our game kind of started up and spun. So we're getting our answer provider, our AI guy here. We're telling it the category we've passed in. So Disney Princesses. We're just kind of feeding it the constants, the questions we want per game. See, I didn't rename that. Ooh, I didn't rename that.
You missed one.
Oh, yeah. Well, amen. Come on. Let's just rename this now. Okay, so that's good. There, now it's generating answers. That's proper. So we start the game. Then we were going to do a countdown and navigate to the page. So we'll come back to this. This is the details. We don't want to melt away.
Yeah,
details, right?
Fine. That's easy, right? Let's get the structure up.
So let's go and do our page. Add. Of course, this is the camera's right in my field of view.
Yeah, what's fun about sharing your windows? It doesn't capture the menus in the pop-up dialogue. So you're clicking around like, what are you doing?
Well, if I'm being stupid, just tell me.
Yeah,
you're good for it.
I think people can figure out how to add a new file to their project.
Right. So I figured now we're gonna create the thing that we want to navigate to. Mm-hmm. Which is going to be our, for lack of a better term, the game. Yeah, the game page, the game view model.
Yeah, sure.
So we're going to do, we'll give this the, man, something's chewing up my CPU. Maybe this isn't quite as nice streaming through the browser as we thought. All right. So I've got my game view model. This is inheriting observable object. And we'll give it a page life cycle as well, just because I like on appearing. I like state. All right. Beautiful. And great. So we'll clean those up because we don't need anything crashing. All right. So the first thing we need to get is our started game, so our game context. Right. This guy contains all of the data about the game. So the category, the answers, the game state.
Yeah, all of it.
Beautiful. And the next thing we need is an IEnumerable of our answer detectors. Okay, I'm not saying that that's a great name for it, but it's working. Go with it. And so what those answer detectors are is every time we loop an answer, we have to start listening to those guys to say, hey, if one of you guys reacts to it, like if I flipped up or down
or if it detects the word spoken, right?
Yep. Then you let us know. The first guy that tells us it's something, we tell the system what just happened, or we tell the game context, hey, they got it right or passed or whatever. The game context will flip over, and then there's our answer.
I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to sprinkle some RX over those puppies.
Said I would not. But a timer is great. Like timers in RX.
The timer too, but even the answer detectors, right? Because then you can kind of say like, give me the stream of events from them and pick the first one. And
so the good part is that I can do that with just a task.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
like
whichever task completes first or whatever.
Right. So we'll probably do that. I've done events just because it's easy, but we can convert those to tasks. It won't be a big issue. So I think the first thing we need to do is what properties we're going to have our current answer.
Is that, I guess, yeah, because we need to have it actually displaying from there, right? Because we've got the game context. Are you just going to basically wrap stuff from the game context itself, or are you keeping the game context with just like the source of answers and not? Well, but we have the current state there, don't we?
Yeah. But so this will be for what we're displaying, right? Because this is what's actually going to come up on the UI. So observable property. And we'll need time. I'm going to make this a string. And the reason I'm going to make this a string is because, I don't know, timers are a bit funky. Like when there's a minute, right, you want to show maybe a little bit, like 2 minutes, you might want to show instead of 120 seconds, you might want to show.
And if the context, I don't know if we got the timer on the context or not, but if it's just on this page, then yeah, I mean, the thing is running and you just want to output the screen anyway.
I think I left the context separate because we don't need the time there. The time can just be passed into the screen, and that's how long it lasts. We probably do want to have how long the game was, like if we're going to save that state, but we can do that later. So we've got that. So we're going to have our timer, or let's call it a timer. I guess that's a better answer, right? We need, we'll probably need to have, because answer is going to be replaced with like pass. Like if we pass, the screen has to go yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow and kind of say pass.
But that's like a temporary thing too, right?
Yeah, it's like a state screen.
Yeah.
So we need like a current state or something, which we can get into. String state. We'll just leave it as a string for now. And this will be get ready, go, time's up, pass, and correct. That looks right. So because we're going to, the countdown, I think we decided we're going to do in the previous page. So we don't need that. When we get to this page, it's go time.
You don't need to show go, right? We're just going to have like I guess the state is you're actually in progress, or you've got to pass, or you've got to correct.
In question.
Yeah.
Because we're in the question.
In answer.
In answer.
Yeah, it's all weird.
Okay. So we decided the ready page is going to be like our countdown area. Okay, great. We have decided that the view model, once we get to the game starting, we're only going to deal with right, wrong, time. And maybe when the game is done, we'll also go to another page. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think
You know what's funny here is like how we approach this a little differently, I think. Like I would tend to go to my XAML to kind of carve out visually how I think I'm going to like make those states appear and what and where and like what kind of data I need and to appear and everything. Like we're getting to the same answer. It's just funny that like you're going from the view model and I tend to go from the, not that I want to like make the view model fit my design. I get that, you know, that's the view model is the display, or the view is, sorry, is the display. But I still almost like need to start there to conceptualize like what am I trying to actually implement here.
well, let's go to the page then.
No, it's all good. I enjoy when like, you know, somebody else has a different approach to doing something.
Well, I think the one thing is that we're going to have to decide. We are going to have to decide now, anyways, what we want on this. And I also have to set up, you know, our proper data type. We aren't going to want the nav bar on this guy either, right?
Yeah, probably not.
It's not really going to. Man, this thing is chugging today. What is going on? Okay, so Matt, bear with me while my keyboard lags behind here. Navigation page dot has navigation bar false. All right, so no nav bar. Probably don't want that on the previous page either. We've got our data type. So I think the background color is what we want to change, right? So we're going to have a bindable background color. I mean, this is part of the reason why it's still good to do some of this stuff as well. So we'll do binding. Let's do state color. I don't know. We'll figure out what we call that after. We'll do American spelling for everybody. All right, so we're going to want to change the background color, and then we're just going to have probably 2 labels. So let's just make this nice and ugly for now with a nice vertical stack layout. And then we'll do, so we need a label for our timer. And then we'll decide whether or not we're showing it. Come on. Text, binding, timer. See, that one appeared. I've done that properly.
So one thought, and I kind of use this sometimes when I want to do state changes like that, because you can kind of animate them, is like you've got the timer going. I think you always want to have the answer going. For the sort of like state changes, I almost wonder if we want to consider like having a grid there, and then you have another view that obscures the stuff behind it, so you can kind of like animate in the thing, right? And out.
So that'll be the curious part about this, is how we want to handle that.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something we can get to. Because you're right. When we show pass or fail, right, we also have to tick that. Like it's got to go, like when we say pass, you don't just want it to go blink and then back to the next question. You want it to kind of sit there for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We may even want to shut down the timer because people are like, come on, man, hurry up. Give me the next question.
Yeah. You pause the timer and change out your answer to the next one. And then, you do your animation back out of the little state change.
Are you going to grace us? Are you going to do some animations, John?
I've got my chat GPT open here. Yeah.
All right. So we've got our state. We could do kind of some XAML to do this, but I think I'm so against XAML doing stuff these days that I just like doing it in the view model. It's just a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, I mean,
state color.
If you're gonna have a color associated, you could do you You do a binding converter and say, when my state is this, give me this color, right?
Right.
If that was less cumbersome, that would be how I would like to do it.
So I think the first thing we're going to do is let's frame out what an answer looks like here when we're in a question. So we have to do, I'm going to call it a question loop or something, right?
Answer loop.
Answer loop. Jeez. I knew you were going to be all over me in this one. And it's kind of, this is going to have to be async because let's just call it loop.
So is this like this is the one we're calling when everything starts, or this is like we call this every time we move to the next answer, or?
Pretty much all the above, right? So when we come in, we start the loop right away.
Mm-hmm.
As long as time is there, as long as time's remaining, we keep iterating through. But the first thing I want to do is say, okay, what is this guy actually doing? So when we come into the loop, the first thing we need to do is use that context. Should have called it game context. At least it's not answer context or question context, because God knows that's going well today. So if I do game context dot, so we've already started the game because we got here.
Oh, the bummer here is that we can't see the IntelliSense either. So,
oh, okay, I can reshare.
Yeah, maybe do it as the screen. Unfortunately,
okay. Give me a sec. I'm gonna also free some memory here. Something's eating time. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing. I am going to reshare screen. And that's a window. Let's try it with an entire screen. And then I'll make sure you don't have to look into infinity, John. So put that over there.
You will likely have to change the size of things.
Yep.
All right.
Is that size huge? I know you can't see this now.
That's fine. That's good.
All right. So now we've got, I'm going to hide this stupid thing because it's in my way. So the current answer, when we come into the loop, we're going to set our answer. Oh, that's much faster now too. Now that it's sharing, it's my keyboard is responsive
weird.
again. And so we set the current answer, and then we start awaiting our answer detectors. Right? So now we have to figure out how we want to do this. Let's see if should we let AI have a go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I realize that's really small, so I'll read it out. And I'm going to make this an agent. I'm going to make it cloud. So I like Sonnet 4.
Yeah, that's been pretty good generally.
All right. So we have two answer detectors. Now we have
an array, a list.
We have an array of answer detectors. In loop, I want to listen to both events, but return the first one that triggers the event. Use a task. What is it? It's not when all, it's when first or whatever.
When any.
Task to accomplish it. Yeah, when any. That's the one I'm looking for. To accomplish this. Let's just see what it comes up with.
See what it does.
Why do I have to do the braining? That's why AI is here, right? I just
that's why when you're like, oh, you're gonna do the animations, like, yeah, sure, I can have it write that code.
We can do it, but do I want to?
No. I bet we can even have it like figure out how to do a nice little flip animation for that.
That's now you're thinking. All right, so it's working on stuff. Oh, it just looks like it's not pretty.
Not really, but I mean,
but it's kind of figuring itself out. Oh, it's awful. It makes me want to cry.
I mean, you do have events on it, right? You could ask it to like rework the things so it's not event based, I guess. But
the only problem with making it not event based, so when we look at like the accelerometer or even the text to speech, is it's going to constantly be turning on and off.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't really want it because then there's like this delay. Like sometimes the accelerometer takes a second to start. Text to speech definitely does because it's got to get the microphone going. So I didn't want it flipping constantly. Like I want to turn them on, but then there's times where I want to listen to them and times where I want them
Yeah.
to just shut up.
Yeah, it makes
Right.
sense.
So
I think what threw it here is that you asked it to use a task, right? So
yeah, did it?
well, it's like wrapping stuff in it.
It did. It
It's
did.
it's setting up like the task completion source to wrap the event basically, right? And giving that back
It
and then waiting on any of those.
it even did. So it did it's doing the states. So it's figured out that we want to
Yeah.
do that. So pass and success. It went green. And then we have to sit there. So we know we're going to have to come, we're setting the state. When changing state to pass or correct, we only want to stay in that state. Stay in that state for, what do you say, 2 seconds? That's probably enough time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to accept everything it gave me, but I think what I want to do is I want to put like a little enum. We're going to call this screen state. Screen state. So we have the correct phase, we have the pass, and we have the in question or in answer. Oh, look at that. See, AI's got it figured out. So now we're going to do, we're going to need this to be a task as well to change your set state. And that's going to be the screen state because we don't have like an in question state for the answer type, right? So I want to bring this down and then I'm going to tell AI to write this too. So I don't have to brain. So I'm going to bring this guy down. We'll do our nice pretty switch statement here. So case if in question, if it's in answer, just sit. If it's correct or it's pass. So there. So these when it's correct or in pass, we want it to sit there for 2 seconds before changing back to the loop. Right. So we're going to do no, that's green or blue. We're going to make that blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then we're going to do for this one, it's green. What color did it give us? Did it give us? Oh yeah, see, it gave green. And then for this guy, we're going to make the state color like a blue.
Yeah.
Colors blue.
Can always tweak it later.
Yeah, and we'll see what it looks like. So I think what we're going to have to do here now is we're going to set state to screen state pass. Oh, you got an angry dog, John.
It must be a delivery. Every time.
And then we're going to have to await that guy. And then we're going to do, for success, we're going to do correct. Now, technically, what we could do is after this loop, instead of having this guy set the counter, we know that we know we're already in a while loop here. As long as there's time, we're sitting here, right? So we could say task.delay 1000 before setting the state back to question, right? Because we're going to do this in a while loop or in answer. So we haven't done the while here yet. God, it looks awful. And we also need to set the question, set the game context as mark answer of what result came in, right? So that's going to move, that's going to push it forward. It's going to record the state. Then we're going to wait for 2 seconds, I think we said, before we flip the state back to in answer. and then the loop starts over again.
And then the game context. Okay, yeah, then the loop starts over, and then we
And then
set
the
our
game
answer again.
context
Yep.
will be this. So the only thing we're going to need is the timer, if time remaining loop. Okay, and I'm leaving that more for AI to clean up. We've got our detector handlers. Now, the other thing I want to do is say, if in the last 5 seconds, vibrate every second, because we wanted to have that. We want a game vibration, right?
Yeah, I guess do we have a delay in the loop here for every second then?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because you don't want to, if you're just looping around and we're waiting potentially at one point for 2 seconds to show.
Yeah, we'll want to stop it. Yeah. We'll want to stop it. So there's a case where we're going to need to figure out how we're going to deal with that time. That's for sure. So we've got our loop decided how it's going to work, right? This covers pretty much everything. So game started, we come in, we set the current answer. We set the current state. Well, we probably have to set the current state up here, actually.
I'm just wondering, I'm just thinking, like, I wonder if maybe the way to approach the loop here, or maybe a more easy to follow along way would be like a game loop, like literally, like loop, like make the timer the loop runner, and then every second that loops, we check state and do things, and basically make it a state machine, right?
Yeah, we definitely want to do that,
because having this like weird, like, okay, we're going to delay 2 seconds, and then in some cases, like if we have it, if the loop is a given that it's every second, we can kind of track state, like, oh, are we, how long have we been in the state of pass? Oh, if it's been 2 seconds, then we move to the a different state. So like your loop call then becomes kind of a bunch of if statements in a sense to figure out what to do based on the state.
Have they answered yet? Have they done this yet? Yeah, we could do that, and then we can use a pure timer, John.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was coming from. It's like then it's kind of easy. I mean, of course, the thing that in theory, like your timer of 1 second, if you're doing work in that timer, you want to. In theory, you might want to say like, oh, well, how long did the work in the loop take? Is it 200 milliseconds? Well, that's not a second that's passed then. Yeah, I mean it is. I guess it's just
And one of the things I tend to do with loops as well, or timer-based loops, is the first thing you do when you come into it is stop the timer, let it do a pass, and restart the timer. I mean, we'll cover that when we get there, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's get an actual timer going here.
And then you can have your detection kind of outside of that loop and just changing state to be dealt with in the loop.
Correct. Okay, so we've got a timer. I don't want the threading one. I want the actual system.timers is better. I don't know. Maybe
I always have to, like, anytime I really want to think about it, I'm like, which one is which and why do I want to use one?
Time. So I'm going to call this timer text. Then that way this will go away. Timer text. This is an actual timer. Call that answer text. That's a little bit better. So this will be timer text, answer text. And then now I can set the timer. So we've already got that set. So we're going to do an elapsed of, let's just anonymously hook this temporarily while we think this through. Should I maybe let AI have a try at this? Do you want to think I should explain it?
Yeah, I think we could say, right? Like we want the loop to be the timer and figure out the state.
All right. So let's do this more of like a PRD style. So we want objective. This is the main game screen for heads up. This screen, we want to screen has 3 states. If I hit enter, oh Jesus, I hit enter.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 3 states. One is in answer, which shows the current answer from our game context, as well as the time left in the round. State 2, what did we say? That was a success screen.
Yeah.
Means it's that one of, hang on, I'm gonna have to talk about our answer detectors. So let me finish the state. Means that the user answered the question correctly. The user guessed the answer correctly. Answer correctly. You should talk about your AI prompt shirts, John. This is now.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to. I'll drop a link in the chat. I don't know if that'll do anything. You know what I can do? Yeah, I got an idea. First, I have to find a browser window. I wouldn't think that would be so hard.
The timer counting down.
So I think we talked last time about some of these bad jokes. And that I might have even mentioned, like, I feel like I need to make like t-shirts or something. And so I've been using AI to do this. I'm gonna add some text. All right, how do I do this? Oh,
Green.
this is gonna be great. Can you see that already? No, it's a preview. I gotta save and show. It's gonna be here soon.
You gonna replace my window, or do I? Need
No. You'll see. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
I need to tweak a few things. Oh, there we go. Let's put it. How do I put it somewhere else? All right, save and show, baby. So it's the idea is really, and you could probably click on that link if I drop it in the chat.
Okay.
I mean, don't let me throw you off of what you're doing.
Well, we'll come back
Too
to
much.
it. Let's see if I can.
Oh, I gotta copy it again.
Yeah, you didn't put it in the live chat.
Oh, there we go. Now it is.
There we go. Okay, so this is John's t-shirts.
This is my new venture, and to be clear, this is not for any of my own profit. I actually have right now. I was looking through some different options. I wanted to find something that was like AI related. So there is a charity called AI for Black Kids in Atlanta that looked kind of cool. So that's where any of the proceeds go right now. But the idea is like, I have these stupid ideas about stuff that would be half funny maybe. And then I was iterating with AI to build the actual designs, right? So, giving it like, it is a little bit me, it's a little bit AI, mostly AI. And so this is the first round that I put up. So we've got our Olama farmer t-shirt because we've done AI. You probably know what Olama is, right? And I that was what started it all, because the thing that I've always kind of gone back to is as we get, I don't know, like the whole industry is changing, right? And it's, if you're not doing AI, you're probably not staying ahead of the curve, I guess. and so like the other option always is to quit and go become a farmer, right? And so I thought it was kind of funny, almost ironic that Olama farmer t-shirt.
It's a good cartoon. I like the logo.
That one was like I iterated a bit, but I got it to give me that logo, and then I just stuck the text and stuff underneath it myself. So hey.
But yeah, I need a prompt engineer and a hand typed code, like right for this stream. I don't know about the police, or can I have
okay,
one?
well, that one is super relevant for me this week because I've been doing stuff that needs all sorts of VRAM, and I eventually paid a few dollars to rent some time on Lambda AI to use like a 96 gigabyte VRAM instance It's like a buck 60 an hour that you're running the thing. So I did what I was doing, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Yeah. So
And you crashed your Mac while you were
I
doing it
crashed
too.
my like hard crashed my MacBook. It was running, it was going, and then I came back after a couple hours, and I was like, it had restarted, and I got the whole submit your crash diagnostics and everything.
Macs don't, like I told you, John, Macs don't crash. They shut down gently and turn back on.
Yeah. That's basically, that's the worst though, because it's like I didn't know for a bit what had happened. Yeah.
It just turned off. That's what it does.
Go buy a t-shirt. They're fun, and it supports something that's good instead of just not good. So that's why I named it AI, bad AI for good things, because I'm not super confident that the AI designs are great, but they're fun.
And I'm going to go get the 2 shirts, but now I'm doing prompt engineering, so I need the shirt.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw it. It has like the computer chip on it. Like it's not I have to go back and see it myself. I don't know. I was pretty happy with how AI designed it. It's got like the crest has like the computer chip inside it, and it's fun.
John's a comedian part-time too now, making shirts.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so help me prompt engineer here, because we can get this prompt in for today, because we're coming to the top of the hour.
Yeah.
See what it generates, laugh at it, and then continue to iterate.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting close.
Yeah,
so,
you've got all the states.
So we've got all the states during success or pass. We want that state to remain for 2 seconds. Our game timer to stop while waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 2 seconds, iterate to the next question and return the screen state to in answer, where the game timer continues to run.
You might might even want to kind of let it kind of stub out the change of pass and correct state, right?
I'm going to give it the full prompt and see what the heck it decides to do.
Fair. I sometimes when I'm doing this kind of thing, I'll be like, give me these methods that I can call that will do this. And then it kind of doesn't have to sometimes think as hard, but sometimes it's fun to see what it'll do anyway.
So I've got our states in order. So now I'm going to talk about how it gets the answer. In order to get an answer correct or passed, you will listen to the I answer detector events during the in answer state to determine, I guess, let's just give it that. It can figure it out. In order to get the answer correct or passed, you will listen to the I detector events during the answer state. During the last 10 seconds of the game, call. I'm just going to say vibrate. I'm going to be as obtuse as possible, and then we'll see what it figures out. Vibrate per second. A game lasts 60 seconds. Now, let's say 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's try that. Let's see what the hell it does. I have no idea.
See what happens. Yeah.
We'll see if it's super intelligent today or if I got the dumb AI. Because sometimes that's the thing about AI. I mean, I always go bitching to John because he's like, he's either working in MAUI, so I'm always working in MAUI, so I could go bitch at John. But now that John's an AI, I can go bitch to him about all the AI things.
Yeah.
So this week I was, again, structured data. If you're using the AI extensions, it works with some models, and then others it's just like, yeah, no, we don't support this yet.
Yeah.
So I've been documenting like, hey, this is what I want my output to look like, and it could never, like AI depending on which which server you pick up, may or may not work, right? Like it may give you
Yeah, well,
completely different answers.
and often that kind of feature of structured output too is like very specific in how it wants it. Like, because there's a difference between like true support for structured output and you telling it output the stuff in this way.
Right. It doesn't. So dates were constantly getting screwed up.
Yeah,
So I basically ended up saying, okay, this AI sucks. Let's switch to Azure OpenAI, which does support structured data,
yeah.
and that solved all my issues. But I had to complain a lot before I got there. So John got to hear me complain about it. I'm like, dude, it keeps doing a different thing every time I iterate over it. Like it's almost impossible to unit test the damn thing. But I did get through it. It was just painful. Not all prompt engineering is easy. All right. I'm just looking at what it did. Oh boy. Oh boy. It even went to the main thread in our timer.
Wow.
Kind of a weird way it went to the timer, but it did pull in the vibration. It's a very, very quick vibration, so we'll have to see what that's like.
Oh, yeah.
Coded the game loop just like you wanted. Small delay before the next question. That's a very small delay. It's not the 2 seconds. Like I told it 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, but did it not keep? Because like the way I would want it to keep track of that probably would be with some state variable, right? Like, or when the last state change happened is probably what I would do. Keep track of.
Small delay before the next question. Okay, so what did it do to our loop? So if not game is running, return. So it did do this. It set the current state so that's what we wanted. It apparently didn't like some of its comments, so that's good. It behaved really weird. It did some weird stuff.
Yeah.
It's got a timeout task. Didn't really ask for that. Oh, sometimes it makes you cry. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd.
But it's got a delay of infinite. So this is the thing about AI, right? Like it does some well-mannered things, and then you're like, you've got a delay of infinite.
Yeah, I think, part of the challenge in this case too is like we had some stuff here and we had it kind of different, and then we asked for something else, and it kind of tried to like integrate the two. I think you get a better result almost if you had started with nothing here.
Yeah. You're probably not wrong.
And done it maybe more iteratively, like, hey, give me a loop, keep track of, the states, and then like it does that, and then okay, now do this and do this. Like that's usually
that's
how
not vibe coding, John. It's like you're supposed to tell it, this is all the things I want. Figure it out.
Well, that it's funny because that's kind of where things are going, right? Like spec oriented, like never touch the code and you always just iterate on the spec and it does it.
It's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. You still have to give it like a base frame. It'll do simple apps, but it hasn't even come close to doing like full proper apps yet. And like just in the course of this one block of code, I mean, okay, it did the operation cancel properly. I don't know what the hell it's thinking of here.
Yeah. I mean, this thing, I would almost like pull this whole file back out and just be like, okay, let's try this again. Let's start over.
I mean, if nothing else, I want to give it a crack and see how it did. And then, cause like even James today, he's had some practice writing the PRDs, right? So that's the product something definition.
Yeah.
Product roadmap definition. I don't know, whatever. So even he wrote out a really good spec. It was fun to see. Started it, and he was like, okay, the screen looks like crap. That's fine. No big deal. Then it gave him a couple fields that said like he was building like a diabetic pet logging thing. And the data models, it went ahead and created the data models, and it created them as like, because they were collections of like logs for the animal, it put them into like one solid JSON object that's saved into the database that way. And then it called the fields like description JSON. And he was like, I don't think that's right. So this is not. But that it was just funny to see how it decided to approach some of these things. And then as he started to press buttons and put information in, it just didn't do anything. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what we end up with. It just doesn't do anything. But let's see how it goes. Also, it's not guess the answer. This is definitely not right because we're going into something else. All right.
Maybe it was thinking like you wanted to show that flash up before the actual.
I'm not sure what I was thinking, to be honest. It also just like inefficient. I don't like inefficiencies, man.
Oh yeah.
Don't async await stuff if you're not gonna actually do it. All right. I mean, I'll tell it to you can also tell it how you want these things fixed in the future.
Yep.
But you really got to get that in a PRD and be like, don't be stupid and do stuff like this. Like this. You put a timeout task.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's infinite. Why? Oh, whatever. Okay, so we got the timeout task. We'll leave that for now. All right, let's tell it. Oh, I've got to also register this against the page, right? So, and this is basically just the magic thing we've got for my little shell library. So I'm going to do, what's the name of the page? Game page. Game page.
Game page.
So that'll put it all together. So we've got that. Then we're going to go back to our ready view model. We'll navigate. We'll deal with that later. I don't have to pass anything because our game context starts here, sets the category, sets all the questions, and then navigates to the view model, which is just going to start right away. So that's fine for now. I'm going to get rid of this to do. And oh, look at that. It went and did all this too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's got the timer text. It made it size weird.
The answer text is bigger.
State text. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's trying.
Yeah.
It's trying.
It's not bad for a first pass at like, can we cobble the pieces together and go from there?
That is probably a good progression for today.
Yeah.
Because we're almost at the stage where we can start loading this. I think what some of the things that we'll do kind of off the stream is I'll fill these funky sensor detectors because I've already got that logic.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we'll let AI take a crack at this next week.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Let me mark
but you've got it, as a backup, right? So if we need to just swap in your implementation, if AI goes off the rails.
Close enough. Correct. Oh, this will be fun. Or the actual answer. If it's the actual answer, we need to pass in the actual answer to listen. That'll be fun. Could steal the game context here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put in, could inject, steal game context. Maybe. And then just to answer the to-do here so that we know what we're doing with AI next week is flip up.
I like it's like listen for a flip or a shake or something. I don't know. I don't know what.
Flip down means correct. All right. So lots of to-dos, but hey, that's great. That's we can let AI do this. And this is what I find that I use AI for. If I put these to-dos,
yeah,
and I can say like next week, what we'll do is we'll say, go and implement the to-do based on what I said here as a suggested way to approach this. And then that way, we're also probably going to need start stops in these, like start listening, stop listening.
Yep.
So that's fine. But then we can let AI really rip away and implement that stuff according to how we've laid it out. And that's what I do it for. And this is what I mean by smaller This is probably what you meant by smaller tidbits. I think we just kind of gave it.
There's that, and even in the chat, right? To kind of be like, if you're doing like the sensor one, I would start by just being like, implement the thing that listens for the vertical flip up and flip down, and then it does that, and then you go from there and keep iterating.
And then navigate to a results page. We'll see.
Part of that I think too is because like I'm kind of lazy about it, and that I could type a whole novel up front, or I can start with a bit, and then like instead of having to potentially redo what I did that whole paragraph about, I'm like more checkpoints, right? It's like, oh, I do this little bit. Oh, it didn't do it right. Well, then I didn't waste my time writing out like this huge prompt for the rest of it because you missed on the first thing.
But this also still, like, that's the thing. A lot of people are worried that AI is just going to do all the code. But one of the things is that sometimes we need to iterate as humans to go through and figure out, like, I don't even know how I want this to work yet. Like, let me go in there, experiment, and then I'll kind of frame out how I want to approach it, because ultimately we're the ones that have to debug it if AI screws up.
Right. And we already did that on this, game view model too, right? Where it's like, oh, well, what if we do it like this instead?
So we give it a try,
process.
We see what happens, and then we iterate on that, and we just keep changing it until it's kind of where we want it to be. So we know that what we're about to see when we start this up next week is probably going to suck, but it's a good starting point. And that's the thing. And then we can shore up that logic, kind of correct where it was stupid, and then, bang, we're done. And I would like to say that while ours may not look as good, ours will be AI driven, so you won't have to pay for all of the categories. Just AI. Well, I guess you have to pay for the AI, but it'll just work.
Yeah.
The only other thing we don't have yet, but I did this in another POC, was recording. So if I've got it up on my head, we're recording the audience. So I'll have something for that. Again, that's details.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing that the official one did.
Yeah, because then you can go back and see everyone's reaction as you say stupid answers.
Well, and like, I could almost imagine doing some nice like AI parsing of the video and like picking out, the best. The best faces or something, right? Like the best reactions.
That's a great idea, because my daughter looks at me sometimes like
what? If you're like, what?
Like she's got a Taylor Swift category, and I'm like, man, I don't know anything about Taylor Swift. I don't care. And like she'll look at you like you're stupid.
Yeah.
And like imagine having like a bubble come up going like, what's wrong with you? I mean, that'd be fun.
Exactly.
Now we're getting extreme though.
Yeah,
I feel like that's another episode entirely.
Oh, that's
video processing.
Yeah, and way more Azure, or OpenAI credit spend, something or other. That'd be so pricey.
Well, that's the thing.
Although you know what? Maybe the local models are better, like because some of them are tuned more for dealing with like photos and stuff, right? So you might. I doubt it, but that seems like a space that they could go.
Well, let's try that as soon as Matthew releases the cross-platform AI. Let's try it and see where we get, and then we can actually go, okay, AI on the phones it's good, or AI on the phones, from what I've seen,
it's still
dumb.
Needs work.
All right. So that was fun. You're gonna do your radio announcement goodbye. Do it, John. Come on.
And next we need the outro music. I got to get that in here too. I just haven't. I don't know how to do it, or I know how to do it, just haven't done it.
Okay.
Although I have this. I don't know if this will play. Ooh, yeah. All right. See,
but you didn't do your radio announcer voice to say goodbye, but now it's too late.
Bye.
My God.